The most painful punishments from around the world. Let's be real, human history is basically just one giant bloody carnival game, so of course our ancestors are taking the top spot on this list. Them suckers tortured half-truths out of people for thousands of years. Now, when you're performing painful public persecutions for such a long time, you're going to come up with pretty colorful ways to do it. Ways to inflict maximum pain to ensure that you extract those dubious confessions. You get them from those filthy, rule-breaking heathens, so it's no wonder history was blessed with devilish devices designed for that. You had the Spanish spider, the French boot, and an IKEA catalog of wooden agony. Strap in, because today we are doing a massive deep dive into this 10 of the absolute worst, most toe-curling, face-scrunching punishments from around the globe. No one, ancient Greece, the brazen bull. Let's kick things off with a classic culinary approach. The Greeks invented democracy, sure, but they also invented the brazen bull. This was basically the worst of a never conceptualized by human minds. You take one giant, hollow, bronze statue of a bull. It comes complete with a little trapdoor on the side. The victim is shoved inside, and the door is locked tight. Then, a massive bonfire is lit directly underneath the bronze beast, and I'm sure your imagination is a few steps ahead here. The bronze quickly absorbs the heat, turning the interior into a searing hot skillet. Are you sure you don't want to confess your crimes right now? 'Cause this pulsating sack of meat is about to treat you like cheap steak at a roadside diner. The metal scorches your skin, literally boiling your bodily fluids. But wait, here's the kicker. The sick freak who invented it built acoustic tubes. He built those tubes directly into the bronze bull's head, so when the victim started screaming in pure, unadulterated agony, the tubes auto-tuned their shrieks into the angry bellows of a raging bull. See what I did there with the sound effects? Turning a guy into a flesh-melting soundboard is absolutely hilarious. No, too, medieval Europe the rack now, despite the Greeks' BBQ identity. The medieval Europeans preferred a good old-fashioned stretch. Welcome to the rack. You ever wake up, stretch your arms, and hear a satisfying little pop? Well, the literal extreme form of this would be the joint snapping practice, the brutal practice of being put directly onto the rack. The victim's wrists and ankles are tied to rollers at opposite ends. They are secured tightly to a heavy wooden table. The interrogator grabs a crank and asks you a simple question. If he doesn't like the answer, he gives that wooden crank a very aggressive little twist. Your bulbous joints have a myriad of nerves ready to send big ouch signals, and boy, are they about to feel some major discomfort. As the ropes pull, your cartilage tears and your shoulders loudly dislocate. Your hips, knees, and elbows follow suit. Remember when your limbs were firmly attached to your torso like 30 seconds ago? Yeah, me too. What a shame that is gone now. No. 3. Ancient Persia's Kafism. The boats. If you really pissed off a Persian king, they wouldn't just kill you quickly and get it over with. They'd feed you an ungodly amount of milk and honey until your digestion gave up. This left you with explosive, uncontrollable diarrhea. Yep, we're going there. The victim is then stripped naked and sandwiched between two hollowed-out wooden boats. Only their head, their hands, and their feet are left sticking out. Then, the executioners slather even more milk and honey all over your exposed face. They cover your limbs before pushing you out into a stagnant swamp. The sweet smell, combined with the absolute biohazard leaking out the bottom, was a dinner bell for every single insect in the desert. Wasps, FLIs, and beetles would aggressively bite your exposed skin.
But the real fun was actually happening on the inside. The bugs would literally burrow into your festering flesh to lay their eggs. You became a living, breathing bug hotel out in the swamp. Better get to confessing, or at least make up something convincing. Oh, this whole situation absolutely sucks for everyone involved. No. 4. 17th century maritime keel hauling? Asterisk, strap in for this one. Your oxygen privileges are about to be entirely revoked. This is keel hauling, a punishment heavily popularized by pirate fleets. The captain is God, and if you stole his rum, you were going under. The mutineer is tied to a heavy rope and thrown overboard. The crew drags them forcefully underneath the ship's hull and up the other side. But what did keel haul do, you ask in poor English? It's very simple. The bottom of a 17th century galleon is coated in barnacles. These are thousands of rock-hard, razor-sharp barnacles attached to the wood as you are dragged underwater. Drowning and panicked, your face is scraped. Your chest is aggressively grated against nature's ultimate cheese grater if you somehow survived. You looked like a walking pile of minced meat. Talk about violently washing away all of your terrible sins. No 5. Medieval Europe, the Judas cradle, asterisk. Let's dial down the water sports instead. We will turn up the intense geometric suffering. Enter the Judas cradle. It's essentially a pyramid-shaped wooden stool mounted on 4 legs. The victim would be hoisted up by a heavy pulley system. They were suspended directly over the impossibly sharp point of the pyramid. The tip was aimed right at your dangly bits. Or it was aimed at your other unmentionable bottom crevices. The interrogator controls the ropes, dropping you down with intense force. The sheer weight of your own body forces the pyramid deeper and deeper. This action ends up utterly destroying your entire pelvic floor. And if that weren't enough, they never washed the giant bloody wooden pyramid. Trust me, although the executioner seems untroubled on the outside, the guy on the pyramid is internally screaming in agony. No 6. The Mughal Empire execution by elephant asterisk. Why spend hours painstakingly building torture machines? Mother Nature already built you a multi-ton, heavily armored tank, highly popular in South Asia. This was the ultimate flex of royal power. You see, elephants are incredibly smart animals in the wild, so rulers literally trained these giant beasts to be their personal executioners. If you committed treason, the elephant didn't just step on your head. They didn't end it quickly. Where's the fun in that? Instead, the elephant was trained to meticulously break the victim's piggies. It crushed their limbs one by one with its giant feet. We are talking thousands of pounds of pressure, shattering your femurs. It breaks your bones like they are dry pieces of spaghetti. In some cases, they strapped giant blades to the elephant's tusks. It could slice you up while tossing you around like a hacky sack. No 7. Medieval Europe. Rat torture asterisk. Sometimes the most terrifying punishments require zero mechanical engineering. But they do require a whole lot of psychological trauma. The victim is delicately slammed onto a hard wooden bench. Their hands and their ankles are bound incredibly tight. Then, the interrogator takes a heavy metal bucket for the rats. He traps a few starving rats inside the metal bucket. He straps the open end directly onto your bare stomach. Now, rats are pretty chill if you leave them alone, but then the torturer piles red-hot coals on top of the bucket. As the metal heats up, the trapped rats begin to panic. They need to escape the scorching heat of the coals. The only soft, diggable surface is, you guessed it,
Your fleshy, incredibly vulnerable abdomen is their only way out. The rats will frantically claw, bite, and burrow their way straight through. They dig through your stomach skin and deep into your intestines. They just want to get away from the terrible fire. Talk about a truly gut-wrenching experience for the victim? No 8. The French and German, the breaking wheel. Originating somewhere in antiquity, the breaking wheel was a very basic yet very effective human tenderizer. It consisted of a giant wooden wagon wheel and a heavy iron bar. The victim would be tied down spread-eagle directly to the ground. The executioner equips his iconic giant iron bar and rears back. He prepares to strike the victim with all his might. Are you absolutely sure you don't want to confess your crimes? 'Cause you're about to be treated like a human piata. With one swift blow, he comes down precisely on the gaps. He hits between the wooden supports, shattering your shins entirely. The heavy iron bar completely crushes your calves into dust. Additional slams from the mallet reduce your entire skeleton down. It basically turns your bones into a loose bag of gravel. Remember when your arms bent in only one direction? Yeah, me too. Once thoroughly pulverized, they'd weave your floppy, noodle-like limbs. They wove them through the spokes of the heavy wooden wheel. Then they hoisted up on a pole for the birds. No 9. Imperial China Linky death by 1,000 cuts. During the Ming and Qing dynasties, the judicial system required a severe punishment. A simple beheading just wouldn't cut it for these crimes. Or rather, it wouldn't cut it quite enough for them. The victim is tied to a wooden post in a public square. Unless you had notable status to sway public opinion, you were screwed. He ran into my knife. He ran into my knife 10 times. He definitely had it coming to him anyway. The executioner pulls out a sharp knife and begins meticulously slicing. He slices off small pieces of flesh from the victim. Chests were chopped, calves were carved, and biceps were butchered. The goal wasn't just to kill you right then and there, it was to keep you alive as long as physically possible. While doing this, they paraded your pieces for the cheering crowd. A skilled executioner could make over 3,000 individual cuts. He did this before the victim finally bled out and died. If you ever complained about a painful little paper cut, just remember there were guys being turned into human sashimi. No 10. Medieval Europe, the pear of anguish, our last stop is terrifying. It is a little gadget proving dentists have always been scary. The pear of anguish looks like a metal fruit cut into segments. These spoon-like segments are attached to a screw on the top. Depending on your crime, this terrible little gadget was inserted. Well, let's just say one of your body's natural orifices. If you were a liar, it went directly into your mouth. Once securely inside, the interrogator would slowly turn the metal screw. With each agonizing turn, the metal segments expand outward forcefully. It wouldn't just stretch your jaw. It would lock it wide open. This ends up breaking your teeth and splintering your jawbone. It shatters the bone like a completely dry little twig. The victim couldn't even scream out in pain during this. They could only make muffled, gurgling noises as their skull expanded. It was slowly forced apart from the inside of their mouth. Well, that's all I got for this one today. If you had fun learning about other people's extreme suffering, seek help. Go watch this video. And I'll see you over there.